Hey, welcome everybody to Wholesale.fm. We are the original voice of wholesale, and I am Kevin Gallagher, your host. It's a pleasure to have you here. Hey, I'm here today with Arnold Heckman. He is one of the owners and the national sales manager for a company called Cannaline. And so, Arnold, I want to say, first of all, welcome to the podcast and give us a little bit about your background and the background of the company, would you please?
Well, I've had a general business background all my career. I've been involved in everything from retail operations to mergers and acquisitions, and essentially got into this business to help a friend who owns one of the largest dispensaries in the country. He was having problems with his packaging and getting the quality of packaging that he was interested in. So I have a friend who's also a partner who had some experience with import, and that's an outgrowth of trying to fill a niche in an ever-expanding market.
That's fantastic. Now, how long has Cannaline, the company, been in business?
Well, we're going into our third year now.
Your third year. So when people would come to your website, or a buyer would come to your website, which is cannaline.com, what are they going to find as far as your product line? What are the sort of things they're going to find there?
Well, we have products that are essentially designed to package anything that needs to be kept fresh or in an airtight container that's easy to use and a user-friendly type of design. That includes jars, bags, and small plastic containers.
Mm-hmm. Because I know for myself, I'm a pipe smoker, and I have different flavors of tobaccos, and jars like this I can see would come in very handy at keeping my tobacco very fresh. Besides that, what are some of the other uses that you can see, with your jars?
They tend to be an ultimate recyclable in that people get them, they use them for storage. Again, for things that need to be kept airtight, they use them for small things that they don't want to go adrift. They just tend to get passed around. Anytime you need a small storage container, these will fill the bill. So
Right.
They can be used for a lot of different things. In fact, we do sell a fair amount to smoke shops, for customers like yourself that want to store pipe tobacco. They're good for any kind of storage along that lines.
So what are the competitive advantages that a buyer, say I'm running a smoke shop, and why would I want to come to your company and buy from you? What's the advantages, that you have over buying from someone else?
Well, we have designed these products from the ground up. Most people in this business use off-the-shelf jars that are essentially little more than candle jars, which have never been designed to have a very good seal. They typically tend to be thin-walled. You can use a thin-walled jar with a not very good seal, but if you put a good seal on it, it will tend to break a thin-walled jar. So we have custom designed our own molds. We've got the thickest walls available given the size and technology for these jars. And our prices are way below typically most of our competitors. We import these in container load quantities. We've got factories that know the quality that we want. They're clean right out of the box, and they're ready to use. So they're good jars.
So these would be either food grade or medical grade?
Well, I would say that they would be. We are very careful about having them come in clean. They are actually FDA approved when they come in from the standpoint of they are for, so to speak, medical use only in the dispensaries. So the FDA does clear every shipment that we bring in.
So for someone that is, say, a medical marijuana user, what are the clear advantages to using your jars?
Well, primarily it's going to keep the meds fresh. You typically don't want them to dry out, both from a dispensary standpoint when they package. They want to keep it fresh and maintain the potency. And these jars will do that. We test them by filling them up with water and turning them upside down and letting them just sit on their lid. And that water stays in these jars for a long, long time.
Hmm.
We are on about our 50th iteration of Seal. The changes are very subtle, but they do make a difference, and they really do hold the product and keep it fresh.
That's great. What trends right now do you see happening in your industry?
Well, in our industry, of course, most people again are using kind of off-the-shelf, products. Uh, in terms of the medical cannabis industry, there's a greater and greater emphasis put on quality packaging, and we see this going on all the time. So that's a good thing for us. Um, Overall, we're seeing a lot of other people coming to us for jars in terms of custom logo products. We're working with a candy manufacturer now. We've actually spoken to people who promote national rock and roll bands about custom printed jars that they would sell at their merchandise table.
Right.
So we're seeing a lot of different people come on to the idea of having a custom printed jar that they can use.
That's great. You right now are working on some new products, and I want to get into a little bit about your product line. So if I'm a buyer, I go to your website, we're going to be seeing some basic type of product that you carry. First, let's get into the jars. Since we have been talking about them, let's cover that some more. What are some of the new things that are coming out, in that product line?
Well, we're always bringing out new designs, and most of our new designs are now what we call rewritable, where you can actually take and label whatever the contents would be with a Sharpie. It won't smudge. It won't come off until you wash it off with soap and water.
Wow.
So that is tending to be something that we're doing for all our new designs, where they'll have an area that's clearly that you can clearly rewrite on. And so that's a main thing that we're focusing on now. We've worked the technology out, and it's pretty amazing in that you can write on it with a Sharpie, and literally in 1 second you can rub it. It will not come off. But you take some soap and water, and it will come off, and then you can rewrite on it again and again.
That's fantastic. So if you had food in there, or if you had a certain type of, I'll go back to me. I like to smoke different types of flavored tobacco, so it's nice to be able to write something like that down to say, this is a cherry flavored tobacco, this is a natural, etc. And that way I'd easily be able to label that, and then later on, if I change my mind and would want to put something else in there, I can just, as you said, use soap and water, clean it off, and write whatever else I want, correct?
That's exactly what you can do. That's what it's designed to do.
Now, you have some smoke bags, for lack of a better way of putting it, that you're putting out. Why don't you get a little bit of, into that, some detail for the people that are listening?
Well, these are smell-proof bags. Again, they have a great air and moisture barrier. Again, these are bags you could fill up with water that won't leak.
Wow.
They really do seal in the moisture, keep the air out, keep the contents fresh. They have been custom sized, and we have them in, I believe right now, 5 or 6 different sizes. We can actually make any size and any configuration of bag for any meat. And it's just a function of minimum order quantity. Actually, when we have customers that can meet the minimum order quantities, we custom print for them. We can do up to 9 colors. And again, they can be custom sized and configured to anything that you want, and the prices are very reasonable. So that's another service that we offer in addition to the stock bags that we carry. We also do custom printed digital labels for people that can't meet the minimum order requirements but would like to, label and brand their particular activity, and they work very well on the back of the bags.
Right. Now, you also have concentrate containers. You want to talk about those a little bit?
Yeah, these are small. We have 2 different ones. They're small plastic or acrylic screw top containers. They're actually good for a lot of different things. We had requests from the industry to develop something that was a little bit more secure than what they were using, which for a long time had been what they call a little cubie or cube type plastic container. It was a press fit lid. had sharp corners in it. The concentrate tended to be a little sticky.
Mm-hmm.
Get caught in the corners, and the top could come off. If you were carrying in a pocket or purse, and you'd lose the contents. It was just not a great item. So we, again, developed custom molds, and with the screw top lid, again, very air and watertight. The acrylic is a little bit bigger, not so much in capacity, but it's a double wall bottom, beautiful presentation. The polystyrene, a little bit smaller, but it will actually fit into the neck of our 1/8-ounce jars, so that you can, carry concentrate with whatever you might want to have in the jar. It's just a press fit. So
wow, that's great.
We designed that so that they would work as a unit, so to speak. And we've sold those to jewelry suppliers or retailers to put gems in. People who market energy pills, they use them. There's a lot of people selling incense. They've been using them. So they've proven to be a very popular item for us.
I realize it's probably not a definite answer you can give me, but what's maybe the most unusual use you've ever heard for one of these jars?
Well, actually, I think one that my wife came up with is that she actually makes small terrariums out of them because they're sealed so well. We live in a very wooded area, have a lot of different mosses and ground covers growing, and she goes out there and she'll put together a whole little ecosystem, and it lives very nicely in one of these jars because of the seal.
That's incredible. Wow. Now, what about this? You have an industry that's changing. There's a lot of great things going on in the industry. Where do you see Cannaline in 5 years, and where do you see the industry that you're in 5 years?
That's an interesting question. The industry's growing. More and more states are legalizing medical cannabis. It actually is a very smart thing for them to do because cannabis is going to be sold. It has been sold for as long as anyone can remember.
Right.
But typically on the street corner in an unregulated fashion. There are known medical benefits to it. I'm not going to go into that now. There's lots of information on the internet. But when the states legalize the activity, they collect sales tax. There's a tremendous amount of employment generated. And the patients actually can go into a safe environment and buy a product that really has been handled correctly and in many instances lab tested to make sure that there's no mold in it. And they actually know the THC content, which is the active ingredient, by percentage. So there's a lot of benefits there. In California, generating a tremendous amount of sales tax and a tremendous amount of employment.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Is there anything that we haven't covered that you would like to get out into the podcast before we go off the air?
I think we pretty much covered it.
That's fantastic. How would a buyer who's listening to this podcast right now, what are some of the best ways that they can get in touch with you?
Well, you can certainly call us at 301-356-9096. We'd love to talk to you. And our website, cannaline.com, CANNALINE.com, shows all our products. And you can order right on our website. But again, we'd love to talk to you, so give us a call at any time.
That is fantastic. Arnold Heckman, thank you so much for joining me here on the podcast today. He is one of the owners and the national sales manager for Cannaline. Please go check it out when you get the chance. I'm, of course, Kevin Gallagher, and thank you for listening to Wholesale FM's podcast. We are the original voice of wholesale. Stay tuned for upcoming interviews with the industry's leading movers and shakers. Wholesale.fm and the Voice of Wholesale talks directly with suppliers, manufacturers, liquidators, show promoters, trendsetters, and more. This is Kevin Gallagher, the voice of Wholesale.fm. Stay tuned for more great podcasts, and remember to check out our sister site, GetThatWholesale.com, the Internet's largest wholesale directory. You can contact me for more information on how to advertise or for an interview by calling 888-358-7822. Once again, that's 888-358-7822 at extension 707. Thank you.